We are in conversation with Professor Satinder Dhiman from the Woodbury University, California, Burbanks. He is a professor of management. Extending you a very hearty welcome to India, Professor Saab.
Thank you, sir.
It's such a pleasure. Wishing you a very happy new year.
I'm glad to be here.
Today on the 6th of January 2018, we are going to take up a new subject, new topic with Professor Satinder Dhiman, because his second PhD, which he has earned, which he has learned, where he has worked very hard, is towards Buddhism. His first PhD was into education, and the second PhD he has done on Buddhism. What was the topic, Professor Saab, of your PhD?
My topic of first PhD was Total Quality Management in Higher Education.
Total Quality Management in Higher Education.
It was a doctorate in education.
Okay,
and the second PhD was in the area of Buddhist psychology and its application to management.
Its application to management. Okay, excellent. I think that's very, very relevant. Now for our viewers, let's start the subject today. And in the first episode, let's first of all understand what is Buddhism.
Sure.
Because I'm trying to be very calm in this particular
Yes.
program.
Yeah, Buddhism, you said it because you said it very well, actually.
Yeah.
Buddhism is first and last about calmness.
Okay.
Let me say just this thing up front, that Buddhism is the art of transitioning from the internet to the internet. So,
Internet to internet.
Internet से internet के साथ कैसे जुड़ना है?
That is Buddhism.
Buddhism is the art and science of that.
Okay.
It is very important to understand. ये internet की बात है बड़ी खास. It is very important to understand that Buddhism is not a religion as we normally understand a religion, like a religion with God, heaven and hell and all that. It doesn't have that. Buddhism is more of a philosophy of life. It is a way of life. It is a
living style.
It's a lifestyle.
Okay.
Buddhism is more. It's a psychology. It is a science of mind and art of life. Science of mind and art of life.
Okay.
Now, Buddhism, how did it originate? Buddhism originated as a reformation, as something to reform, as a movement to reform Hinduism. There was a time, like in everything in history, there came a time where Hinduism suffered from superstitions and ritualism more than the essence with which Vedas concern themselves. Vedas concerns with rituals also, but also Upanishads, which are philosophical treatises about our self, about how to know our Atma and Brahma. Atma and Brahma is what the subject matter of Upanishad is. But during a particular phase, when the divinity sent Lord Buddha on the planet, at that time Hinduism became victim of superstitions and ritualism more. It became more concerned about the outer shell rather the inner core.
Okay.
So Buddha came as a reformer. Everybody knows that Gautama the Buddha, his name was Siddhartha. He was born about, I would say, 2,600, 2,700 years ago. As a matter of fact, it will be interesting for you to know, or for the viewers to know, the written history of India, the formal written history of India starts with the birth of Buddha. See how significant this particular is a watershed. With the date of the birth of Buddha, with the year of the birth of Buddha, whatever scholars have agreed, 2,600, 2,700 years ago, is where the formal written Indian history starts.
Okay.
Now, Buddha was a very special person. Although the Buddha is a title, like the president or prime minister is a title. Anybody can be in that. So by that I mean there have been other Buddhas also. The word Buddha means the awakened one.
Okay.
Buddh, the root is Buddh. And Buddha chose to speak, he spoke the language called Magadhi. And he spoke, his discourses, he delivered about 84,000 discourses. So the literature says.
Okay.
And most of them have been preserved in long discourses, middle length discourses, connected discourses. They are known as Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, and then Anugutra, sutras, and then suttas are there. So sutra and sutta. So Sanskrit is where, when we learn about Sanskrit, then we talk about Vedas. But when we talk about Buddhist scriptures, they are written in Pali, the original Buddhist scriptures.
Okay.
I will talk about different types of Buddhism.
Yeah.
So Buddha was, when he was born, so the story goes, as in common in India, his parents invited some astrologers to look at his horoscope, his natal chart, his birth chart. And when they looked at his chart, they said that according to the chart, his horoscope, this person, this little boy, can, when he grows up, he can go in two different directions.
He can either be
a king, Chakravarti Raja, or he will be a saint or a sage of some very high reckoning.
Yes, different stature.
High reckoning, very high reckoning. So from that day, his father's effort was to keep him away from any such thing which will lead him the path of becoming a monk or a saint or something.
Okay.
So he kind of organized what can be called a palace of pleasure for him.
Palace of pleasure.
Palace of pleasure. So that Buddha's, Siddhartha's, before he became enlightened, his name was Siddhartha Gautama. It was a clan name, Gautama. So his endeavor, father's endeavor was that he should be surrounded with all fun and party, so that he doesn't even think about leaving the world.
And he remains busy in that.
That's why it's called pleasure, palace of pleasure. And when he and Buddha initially, reveled in those things like any young man will. And then they also married him, and eventually he had a son called Rahul. Now, on one particular night, as now the divinity will have it, he had a curiosity that
just
all my life, I have lived in this enclosed, even if it is palace, but it is, if you are in a jail, even if you paint the bars of the jail in golden color, it is still a jail. So he said, I want to go out. I want to go out. And of course, his father will never allow him. So he conspired with his, the person,
one of his best friends,
Chona. No, Channa was the person who used to ride the horse cart.
Okay.
वो बग्गी चलाने वाले थे, नौकर थे. तो उनको कहा कि हमें लेके जाइए. I want to go outside. So in the middle of the night, when everybody is asleep, Buddha, when his wife was asleep and his son was asleep, he goes with Channa to visit the city. When he goes in the city, Buddha sees four things. Four sights. चार चीजें देखी उन्होंने. First of all, he comes across a person who was ill, who was sick. He has never seen him, something like that.
So he didn't know what is sick.
Yeah, he says, what is this? This person is suffering from something. He was not happy. So Buddha says, what is this? Asks his charioteer. And Channa says that, sir, he is suffering from some disease, a malady, and that's why he doesn't look very good. And he said, will I also get
one day?
Will I also get sick? He said, yes, sir.
You can.
Like everybody has body, and body eventually, will get sickness, some kind of. So Buddha became quiet. The next, they go a little further. This is the middle of the night. Next, he saw a person who was very old. His back was bent, and he was walking with a stick. Chhadi se chal rahe the. Buddha had never seen an old man because they protected him. They didn't want him to see anything which will give him even an idea of leaving this pleasure, life of pleasure. So he asked Chona, he said, who is this? He said, sir, he's an old man. And Buddha asked, will I also get old? He said, yes, sir. If you get lucky, if you live that long, you will also get old. Buddha again became more quiet. The third thing he sees was, somebody died and they were taking his dead body. Shamshan ki taraf le ja rahe, mritak sharir ko. So Buddha said, what is this procession at this time of the night? And who is this person those four people are carrying? And where is he going? He said, sir, this person has died. Buddha had never heard about death. He said, what does death mean? He said, sir, everybody who is born, everything which is created one day has to be destroyed, will be destroyed. Everybody who is born will be dead. Buddha said, I will also one day become dead. He said, yes, sir, this is the law of nature. So Buddha became very, very quiet and he started becoming depressed with this whole thing. He thought that life is fun and games. But now he has
it was altogether different.
He's a brush with the reality.
Yeah.
He had a reality check.
Yeah.
And he didn't like it.
Different experience
He didn't
altogether.
like it. You can imagine somebody
who has never seen
old
this.
man and a sick man and a dead man for the first time.
Yeah.
You can imagine the shock.
What was the fourth stage?
Third.
So what was the fourth?
Fourth was, then he saw somebody who was a hermit, who was like a saint or a person who has given up everything. He's a renunciate. वो त्यागी थे कोई. So, and this person looked very happy, as if there is nothing wrong. So he asked, who is this person? He said, sir, this person is a saint. He said, who is a saint? He said, sir, he has given up all the pleasures and all the trappings and all the materialistic possessions. But then he said he looked very happy. He said, yes, sir, he has the happiness of no care. He doesn't have any caring. He doesn't have to do any care.
Yes.
The more things you have, the more you have to care, the more worries you have. This guy has no worries. Now Buddha is very quiet. He comes back and he makes a decision that I'm going to give up everything. I'm going to become one like that fourth person because he was happy.
Yes.
And I want that. So he has to give up. So for the first time, then he sees the face of his child and his wife is asleep. So he, in his heart, begs forgiveness from both of them and he leaves. Never to return.
Okay.
And never to return, at least for a long time. And then when Buddha leaves the palace, he meets with the two people who were Pandits. And they were not able to answer his questions.
Okay.
He had questions like, what is God and where is God and what does God do? What happens to a person after death? Where does, is there a soul? Where does the soul reside? Where does it go? So nobody was able to give satisfactory answers to him. Then from that day, Buddha decides to set out on the journey to find the truth on his own. And then as divinity would have it, after, he tried everything. First, he tried not eating anything. Total fasting. His body became very big. He already had, learned the art of eating too much in the palace. So he tried that excess. He tried another one. Then he realized that eating too much is not right. Eating nothing is also not right. And he discovered the middle way, golden mean. So that is one of the reasons that we talk about the middle way in Buddhism, because Buddha tried the extremes and tried this extreme. Both were not really good for the health. So he comes to this realization. Then after, but he was not getting what he wanted, that's the truth. So one day he sat under a tree called Bodhi tree. I think it's in Bodh Gaya.
It's in Bodh Gaya.
He sat under that auspicious tree, and it is called Bodhi tree because not that the name of the tree is Bodhi tree, because he got his Bodhi, meaning enlightenment. By that it's called, due to that it's called Bodhi tree.
Okay.
And at that night, this has been 6 years now. He has been searching, meditating, doing everything in the book.
6 years.
6 years has passed. And now this is the final night.
Okay.
The night of his enlightenment.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock, he sits under the Bodhi tree and he crosses his legs. वो पद्मासन में बैठ गए. पद्मासन में वो बैठ गए. And he makes a commitment that I will not unlock my legs. वो lock कर लिया पद्मासन में.
अच्छा.
And he said that I will not lotus unlock. Position में बैठ गए. He said I will not unlock my legs even if मेरी हड्डियों का चूरन बन जाए. Okay. Even if my bones fall away from my legs, I am not going to unlock my legs unless I become enlightened.
Okay.
That was the resolve.
Okay.
Sarfaroshi ki tamanna. He had that, and then all night he sees visions.
Okay.
He was able to see all his past lives
Okay.
in one film,
Okay.
like a microchip.
Ah,
The film is going in front of him,
right in front of him. Okay.
and he was able to see all the things, all the species he has gone through. And then Sharmaji finally,
Mm-hmm.
in like 5 o'clock in the morning,
Hmm.
he gets enlightenment. He
Okay.
gets the vision of the truth.
Okay.
And then his body was very frail.
Hmm.
And then somebody, I think her name was Sujata, a little village girl, comes to give him some kind of what we call rice pudding, so that his body gets rejuvenated. And then from there, I think he moves to Sarnath to give his first lecture.
Sermon.
First sermon. His discovery was three things. Then he gave 4 noble truths. Then he gave 8-fold path. In Buddhism, numbers are very important.
Acha.
3-fold path, a 4-fold noble truth, 8-fold path, 3 marks of existence,
Okay.
12 links of chain of being.
Okay.
So numbers are very important. So the very first realization he comes to know is that life, the way we live it, is full of suffering.
Sure.
Dukkha. Dukkham, dukkham. He says dukkham, dukkham.
The life which we live.
As we live
Okay.
it. How we live it? We live a life of attachment. Right? Let's say that you like a person.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it's very good.
Yeah.
But you do not want the person to change. But change is the law of nature.
Hmm.
So when the person changes, aapko dukh hota hai.
Desire is the root cause of all pains.
Desire. He finds out that desire. You remember somebody went to Buddha. There's a story, beautiful story. I don't know if it is 100% true, but it is attributable to Buddha. This is how internet is. People start putting stories under great people. Here is one story I saw on the internet. A man goes to Buddha and says, I want happiness. I want happiness. 3 words. Buddha says, sir, I is very selfish. Remove it. So he removes the I. Now want happiness ho gaya. And then he says wants. He says want, desire is the root cause of unhappiness. Remove that. Want bhi remove kar diya. Kya reh gaya?
Happiness.
So when you remove the selfish I and remove desires, what is left is
happiness.
Our own Svarupa.
All around happiness.
Right? So this is one little digression I made based on your comment.
Okay.
So Buddha says that the way we live life, these are called 3 marks of existence.
Okay.
Trilakkhana in Pali language, in the language of those days. So Buddha says that life is marked by 3 characteristics, 3 features. One, the way we live life.
Okay.
The way we live it.
Okay.
How we live? We live a life of attachment.
Okay.
We get attached with everything.
Okay.
Clinging.
Okay.
Chipak jate hain har cheez se. Chipak. Because of that, when that thing is taken away from us, we become sorrowful.
Disturbed.
We have
sorrow.
Grief because of that. Second thing he discovered about existence was that everything is temporary. Anicca. The Pali word is anicca. Sabbe dhamma anicca. Everything is anicca, meaning impermanent. Now, it's very realistic. You will find Buddhism is very scientific. Most scientists of the world have no trouble in subscribing themselves to Buddhism.
Okay.
Why? Because it's very rational. It's very logical. Now, can you deny that life is full of suffering? Nobody can deny that. I mean, if I look at my own life, you look at your own life, and you make a balance sheet, and you say how many moments I have had for happiness, how many moments of sorrow. More often, the moments of sorrow far exceed the moment of happiness.
Yes.
You will remember there was a great novelist, Victorian period, Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy.
Yes.
Let me quote something.
Some movies also have been made based on his
novels.
Yes.
One of his quotes, which is almost Buddhist quote, looks like a Buddhist quote, but comes from Thomas Hardy. He says, happiness is an occasional episode.
Happiness is an occasional
episode in the life's general drama of pain. लाइफ के जो पेन का ड्रामा है ना, उसमें कभी कभी एक छोटा सा एक सीन आ जाता है हैप्पीनेस का, राइट? सो बुद्धा सेज लाइफ इज, he did not say life is suffering. That's a wrong translation. He said life, the way we live it, involves involves suffering.
Okay.
Two different things.
To
say-
the life,
To,
the way we live.
to say life is suffering is very negative.
Yes.
His observation was life,
Hmm.
the way we live it, involves suffering.
Hmm.
It involves suffering, and
Yes.
you can't deny that.
Yes.
Second, everything is impermanent,
Okay.
temporary. It
Okay.
comes and goes.
Okay.
कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है वो दायम है.
Okay. Okay.
गुरबानी में आता है क्या मांगूं
हाँ.
कुछ स्थिर नहीं.
हाँ.
What should I ask? Everything
कुछ भी
is
तो,
कुछ भी तो स्थिर नहीं है. Everything आने जाने वाला है.
सब
आगमा
कुछ.
पाइनो नित्य है, गीता में आया है. So second thing was everything is impermanent. Third thing was, which is even this particular part has been misinterpreted a lot, even by scholars. And that part is, Buddha said that everything is devoid of its self.
Everything is devoid of self.
Now,
Okay.
iska interpretation most people
Huh.
take to be
Huh.
as that we don't have any self.
Yes. Yes.
That is not the purpose.
Uh,
What Buddha is saying is, we do not have a separate self. ये नहीं है कि आपका self अलग है, मेरा self अलग है. ऐसा नहीं है. In a way, at the deeper level, there is only one self. It's like space. We have a glass. There is space in the glass. There is space outside the glass. Do you think that the space in the glass is separate from the space outside? No, it's not separate, right?
Yes.
So Buddha's principle was anatta. Anatta means no self. But here it should be understood as no separate self.
Okay.
First characteristic is life, that life involves suffering. Second, life is, everything in life is impermanent, comes and goes. Third, things do not have a permanent self, which is separate from the rest of the harmony of things. Anatta, anicca, and dukkha.
Okay.
Three principles: dukkha, anicca, and anatta.
Okay.
These are three
Dukkha,
marks of
anicca,
resistance.
and- Okay.
If we want to understand Buddhism, now there are several forms of Buddhism. Buddhism, I think after almost 500 years after his death, some monks got together, and back then people used to memorize a lot. So all the discourses were memorized by people, monks.
Okay.
So 500 monks got together. It is called First Buddhist Council or something.
Okay.
And they then committed to writing everything, what they remembered.
Okay.
And then those were divided into
Different parts.
for different themes. There were some rules for monasteries that became some sort of there are three pitakas, three baskets. There were discourses, long discourses, short discourses, rules for monastics and all that. But we're not going to get into that detail. The idea is Buddhist literature is very vast, and there are many forms of Buddhism. The original form, the oldest form, is called Theravada. And that's where I focused. My research was focused on Theravada, basically.
So we talk in detail about this particular Theravada in detail
and others
in our next episode.
Sure, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much. Very kind of you.